Sullivan. I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor. Welcome to my channel here. It's the home of the 5 minute or less video. People don't like listening to any more than 5 minutes like I do, so I make them short and sweet and get to the point. I've worked for IRS for a decade. I've been in private practice for 4 decades. I have worked over 10,000 cases. I'm a national expert in IRS resolution matters. I have a whole team of former IRS agents on my staff. If you want to see me in a suit and tie, you can go to my YouTube, my website, and you'll see all my national news interviews on Fox and ABC and on Newsmax and all the other stations that I've been on. I don't need a fancy suit, all the books. I know all this stuff here. After 50 years, I should. So I do these videos for 3 reasons: to educate you, to inform you, give you insider information from IRS, and really so you don't get ripped off. So being a former IRS agent, I used to knock on the doors, I used to collect money, I used to levy, lien, seize everything in the book, from cars to boats to planes, the whole 9 yards, bank accounts, wages. So I know this system. I've been doing this for 50 years. So today I want to talk to you about how do you stop IRS if you owe money to the IRS. And the answer is very simple, extremely simple. You call them. But you know what the problem is? Most people are afraid, and rightly so. I think you need to be concerned, but you don't need to be worried, you don't need to be anxious, and you don't need to lose sleep over this. Let me tell you what the system is so you can relax about it. First of all, if you owe IRS debt, you're going to have to call sometimes to stop IRS. That's how you stop IRS. Now, people who are watching this station are either going to do one of 2 things. They're either going to think of hiring me, or they're going to want to do it themselves. Either one is fine, but I want you to know what the system is. So you pick up the phone, but you have to know what IRS is going to do when you pick up the phone. That's the key. You just can't call them and say, gee, IRS, what do I do? You have to understand what IRS is doing on the other end so you can have success when you call. So let me tell you what is going on IRS's end. IRS needs to evaluate you, and how do they do that? They ask for a financial statement. If you're calling a revenue officer, they're going to do that for an IRS financial statement 433A. If you're going to call the service center, there's a 1-800 number, they're going to want the 433F. It's a much abbreviated form. They're going to fill that out, and they're going to look at 2 things. They're going to look at your assets and your disposable income. How do they do that? They look at your liquidity value, and then they look at your spending habits, and they see if you're spending too much. How does IRS know if you're spending too much? Because IRS has national standards of what you're allowed to spend. That is the killer, that is the kicker, and that's what you need to know. So IRS is going to limit your spending, and they limit it in 4 areas. They limit it in the area of food and clothing, housing and utilities, car payment, and operation of car. Do you want to know what that limit is? What's the big secret? That's called the national standard. Go into your toolbar and type in IRS National Standard for food and clothing, IRS National Standards for housing and utilities. Housing and utilities. It'll click on a state page, then you click on your county and you'll find out. IRS National Standards for car ownership, IRS National Standard for operations of a car. So IRS in there are going to limit your spending. So when you call IRS, understand that they have a scenario that they expect you to live by. So if you're living on $8,000 a month and IRS's standard is only $6,000 a month, you're going to pay them $2,000 a month. So before you call IRS, if you're going to do it yourself, if you don't understand what I just said, you've got to find someone who can go ahead and represent you so you don't get winged. If you don't have anything and you're just living week by week, paycheck to paycheck, it's okay to call IRS by yourself. You're really not going to get dinged. But if you owe a lot more money, you don't want to call IRS by yourself because they're going to get in your pocket. And I promise you, if this video was helpful to you, would you please give me a subscription? I'd really appreciate it. We thrive on subscriptions because YouTube says so. Not me, but YouTube. Leave me a comment, and if you want me to do a video or something, leave the comment. Ask me a question. Happy to represent you. My information is below. Thank you for the subscription.